meantime, let's go back to New York City. Want to get some updates on the case that is unfolding there regarding Sean Diddy Combs.
The judge has denied bail for Sean Diddy Combs. Of course, this was the hip-hop mogul's latest bid for freedom as he remains in federal jail for his racketeering and sex trafficking case.
Oh gosh, can you believe what's happening? The man who once had it all, I'm talking private jets, red carpets, that unmistakable swagger, Diddy Honey is now fighting for his very survival in the most horrific place imaginable. I mean, we're talking about a complete 180. 1 minute he's the definition of untouchable fame and fortune, and the next, he's trapped in the shadows of a detention center that would make your skin crawl. I literally can't wrap my head around how someone like Diddy, the Diddy, ended up here. Gone are those fabulous days of popping champagne at extravagant parties and strutting around in designer suits that cost more than most people's cars. Now, his reality is nothing but cold, hard walls, endless whispers of conspiracy, and this suffocating fear that he might never escape this nightmare.
Just incredible. And, it brings into context our whole system of innocent to proven guilty. Why is he not being given bond? And, we could debate that all day long. Of all people that's unlikely to flee or get away, well, he's got the resources to flee, but he's so recognizable. And isn't he innocent till proven guilty? Well, yeah, but, we have to recognize there are degrees of innocent till proven guilty. When you have this much...
Let me tell you about what's happening at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. And trust me, darling, it's absolutely shocking. Our once flashy mogul, the man who practically invented swagger, now looks like a complete stranger. I'm talking gaunt, gray-haired, and honestly, utterly defeated. It breaks my heart to tell you this, but the reports from inside are just devastating. You wouldn't even recognize him anymore. The transformation is that dramatic. One journalist said, and I quote, "He looks astonishingly thinner." But honestly, that's putting it mildly. We're talking about someone who went from being larger than life to barely there at all. And let me spill the tea about this detention center. It's literally hell on earth. I'm not exaggerating. The conditions? Beyond horrifying. We're talking freezing winters, suffocating summers, and living conditions that would break anyone's spirit. Can you imagine Diddy, who lived in actual palaces, dealing with this? It's just brutal.
I mean, it's a legitimate concern. No judge wants to wake up and read the headlines the next day. Oh, they treated this guy special and they gave him bond, and now he's gone and he fled from justice. So that's what's in the back of most judges' minds. On the other hand, we deal with cases where clients have significant funds sometimes. And sometimes where there's money, you can craft a unique solution. Years ago, it was the ankle bracelet and the ankle monitor.
But wait, it gets even worse. The whispers coming from inside those prison walls, they're absolutely chilling. Word is, someone's actually tampering with his food. Can you believe it? Poor Diddy is so terrified he's refusing to eat anything they serve him. Instead, he's surviving on commissary snacks. Just imagine, a man who once dined at the world's finest restaurants now reduced to living on prison vending machine fare. And honey, let me tell you what this prison consultant said. It sent shivers down my spine. They basically implied that if someone wanted to send a message to Diddy, they wouldn't even need to break in. They just need to find the right person who's already inside. Terrifying, right? Being famous in prison, it's like having a giant target on your back. Everyone, and I mean everyone, is watching his every move. The guards, the inmates, even the staff are all taking an unusual interest in him. Some are making his life absolutely miserable, while others, they're running straight to the media with every juicy detail about his struggles.
Interesting to me that with all the money he has and all the resources he has, they couldn't craft some solution that lets him be under some form of house arrest. And again, it sounds like special treatment, but the truth of the matter is, to incarcerate somebody like him is expensive to all of us. We're taxpayers, and he's got to have unique situations. You can't put him in general population where, everyone wants a piece of him and everyone wants to be his friend and everyone.
The physical hardships are one thing, but the psychological torture? That's a whole other level of devastating. Sources say he's becoming increasingly paranoid, and honestly, who could blame him? His trademark confidence? Gone. Replaced by this constant cloud of anxiety that follows him everywhere. He spends most of his time alone, avoiding everyone like the plague. And really, can you blame him? Those prison walls just keep closing in tighter and tighter, and the whispers of betrayal, they just keep getting louder.
Well, Sierra, anything's possible, right? But now this judge has an even harder time, I think, because the past judge locked him up, didn't let him out. and he's still there available for trial. If the new judge lets him out on bond and something goes wrong, and this isn't the analysis that I'm proud to make, right? We shouldn't be saying, well, judges are worried about their own skin and how they look if something bad happens.
His legal team has been fighting like wildcats to get him out on bail, but nothing's working. Diddy himself told his lawyers the conditions are unlivable, and that's probably putting it mildly. But these judges, they won't budge an inch. They're worried he might mess with witnesses if he gets to go back to that gorgeous Miami mansion of his.
They're going to try everything. They're going to try to transfer him. They're going to try to get him out. In a normal case where it's a high-profile person or a well-funded person, the prosecution and the judge is a little bit more concerned about a wrongful prosecution, because people that are mad that they're being arrested for a crime they didn't commit can turn around and file for malicious prosecution.
The desperation in Diddy's legal moves is just heartbreaking to watch. His team has tried everything, and I mean everything. They've begged the Bureau of Prisons, they've pleaded for transfers, but it's like hitting a brick wall every single time. Some people are saying this isn't just bad luck. They think someone powerful wants to keep him right where he is, vulnerable and completely cut off from the world. And the reaction outside those prison walls? It's like a circus of mixed emotions. You've got people who used to worship the ground he walked on, and others who've been waiting years to see him fall. Those who claim he wronged them, they're practically dancing in the streets. One source, who wouldn't give their name, of course, said with this chilling satisfaction that he's finally getting what he deserves.
Diddy will be sued, and I say will be because nothing has been filed yet, by at least 120 people in the next 30 days.
But even as some people celebrate his downfall, others can't help but feel their hearts breaking. This isn't just about some celebrity falling from grace. It's about watching a human being's dignity being stripped away piece by piece. The man is wasting away in conditions that would make your stomach turn. It really makes you wonder, how much punishment is enough? When does justice cross that line into pure cruelty? And speaking of wasting away, the physical transformation is just shocking. He's losing weight at an alarming rate. That muscular frame that used to fill out those designer suits, gone. Now his clothes just hang off him like he's wearing someone else's wardrobe. His face, once so full of life and energy, now it's hollow, gaunt, with these haunting eyes that just scream fear and defeat.
Every jail is bad. Some jails are worse than others. And the problem, again, is if you move him, why is he getting special treatment? And maybe he's earned special treatment. Maybe what he's done, maybe he's given so much back to his fans and to the world and to charity that maybe there's a way that it plays out in the end. But again, to go into court and say this jail is bad, move him to another jail.
His health has become everyone's biggest worry. While his legal team keeps insisting he's mentally sharp and focused on his defense, others are raising serious questions. Can he really handle the pressure of this upcoming trial? Between the crushing stress and what prison is doing to his body, people are wondering how much more he can take before something breaks. But even in this nightmare, Diddy remains absolutely fascinating to everyone watching. The world is literally holding its breath, waiting to see what happens next. Will he somehow rise from these ashes like a phoenix? Or will he become just another cautionary tale about how quickly the mighty can fall?
There's no way. They can't move him to the general population. And would he be at risk? Sure, he'd be at risk. There's so many people that have nothing to lose, right? They're going to be in jail the rest of their life. They've got nothing to, they want their 15 minutes of fame. They were friends with Diddy, or they hurt Diddy, or they did. I mean, there's so many, people in jail that this would be their moment. You can't put them there. Plus,
but here's where it gets really interesting. The conspiracy whispers are getting louder by the day. This story? It's far from over. In fact, it feels like we're just scratching the surface. Behind those prison walls, there are forces at play that could change everything. Alliances are crumbling, secrets are being kept, and the stakes? They couldn't possibly be higher. Because in this world of power and influence, nothing is ever quite what it seems. What if, and this is absolutely chilling, Diddy's downfall isn't just about what he allegedly did. What if there's something far more sinister happening? The whispers surrounding him paint this absolutely terrifying picture of a man who might not just be fighting for his freedom, but for his very life.
I came here today just to tell the truth, so hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time, we'll start to see that.
Let me tell you about the dark underbelly of every great empire. There are always these invisible protectors, people working in the shadows, making sure the powerful stay powerful. For years, Diddy seemed absolutely untouchable. He built this incredible fortune, reinvented himself countless times, and somehow always managed to silence his critics with another stunning success. But according to some absolutely shocking rumors, that success might not have been entirely self-made. Word is, Diddy's meteoric rise was helped along by some seriously influential figures, people who had their own reasons for wanting him at the top. These untouchable elites supposedly shielded him from every scandal, every legal trouble, every financial mistake. He always came out smelling like roses. But here's the million-dollar question. What happens when your protectors decide you need to fall? Some insiders are saying this whole nightmare is actually a calculated betrayal by these same shadowy forces. Think about it. Diddy knew things, dangerous things, secrets that could bring down more than just his own empire. For years, he played the game, kept those secrets buried deep in exchange for their protection. But something changed. Maybe he stepped out of line, or maybe he just became too much of a liability.
In her civil lawsuit, Cassie said that she was the victim of abuse, assault, and rape at the hands of Diddy.
And here's where it gets absolutely chilling. His legal troubles, they might just be the tip of this terrifying iceberg. The whispers suggest his arrest and detention are part of some master plan to silence him before he can reveal what he knows. A former associate, who's absolutely terrified of being named, said Diddy had been growing increasingly paranoid in the months before his arrest. He knew something was coming, they said. He started talking about how he couldn't trust anyone anymore, how he felt like he was being watched. The timing is just too perfect to be coincidence. Just weeks before they took him down, Diddy was supposedly working on this explosive tell-all project. We're talking about something that would blow the lid off the entertainment industry's darkest secrets. Some say this was the final straw, the moment when those pulling the strings decided he had to be stopped.
To have them cooperate and testify against Sean Combs, or whether down the line there'll be additional charges and additional defendants on the indictment.
We are not done. This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do.
Just days before his transfer, and this is absolutely explosive, Diddy handed a corrections officer this mysterious piece of paper. Sources say it contained names, not just any names, but a list of people allegedly involved in this massive web of corruption. While we don't know exactly what's on that paper, the whispers suggest it named high-profile politicians, executives, and even some of his former allies in the music industry. If what Diddy claims is true, this isn't just about his case anymore. It's about silencing someone who knows far too much.
Maybe some solution where his money could help us craft, he could build his separate jail cell, and we could keep him there. Just interesting to me that they sort of said, nope, you're gonna be treated not like everybody else, but a lot like everybody else. Having money doesn't do it. So I wouldn't want to be those judges.
But how do you silence someone as high profile as Diddy without raising suspicions? The answer seems to lie in his treatment behind those prison walls. From keeping him in isolation to allegedly tampering with his food, every single aspect of his detention appears designed to break him down completely. One prison consultant who knows the Metropolitan Detention Center intimately said it's a place where anything can happen if you know the right people. And those fears about being poisoned? As extreme as they sound, they might not be paranoid delusions after all. Then there's this sudden, mysterious transfer to an undisclosed location. They're calling it routine, but insiders hint at something far more sinister. Some say it's a calculated move to cut him off from his legal team and any outside support. Others suggest something even darker, that they're keeping him alive, but only long enough to ensure those secrets stay buried forever.
Now, to the latest on the arrest of Sean Diddy Combs. This one has so many people talking. The disgraced music mogul facing federal racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking charges. Both the prosecution and defense teams are set to discuss the next phase of action following the indictment as investigators work to determine potential co-conspirators. But how exactly did we get here?
The idea of a conspiracy might sound far-fetched, but history tells us otherwise. Time and time again, powerful figures who've threatened to expose the truth have found themselves silenced in one way or another. And in Diddy's case, the stakes couldn't possibly be higher. He's not just fighting for his reputation or freedom, he's up against forces that will stop at nothing to protect their interests. But why now? Why, after decades of being untouchable, has Diddy suddenly become a target? Some say it's all about the changing tides in the entertainment industry. There's this growing push for transparency, for accountability. Someone like Diddy, who's been seen as untouchable for so long, represents both a threat and an opportunity. By taking him down, those in power send a crystal clear message to anyone else thinking of speaking out.
Public realm, this is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in a jail cell right now, I think it really underscores the magnitude of what he's facing and the weight of the federal government.
As the trial date looms closer, the tension is becoming unbearable. His legal team has promised to fight back, but even they seem to be drowning under immense pressure. One of his lawyers was overheard saying something that sends chills down your spine. This isn't just a legal battle, it's a war. Meanwhile, the public remains completely divided. Some see him as a fallen hero who flew too close to the sun, while others believe he's nothing more than a scapegoat, another victim of a system that destroys anyone who dares to challenge it.
I think it's to be expected, just the shock of this and the questions about what is ahead of us. How long is he going to be in custody? Is this an R. Kelly situation? Is he going to not get out for a number of years? Is he going to end up serving a long-term prison sentence from this? Or does he have a chance of beating these charges at a trial that could come?
One thing's absolutely certain. Diddy's story is far from over. The forces at play here are more complex and dangerous than anyone could have imagined. As the world watches and waits with bated breath, everyone's asking the same question. Will Diddy somehow rise from these ashes, or has his empire finally crumbled for good? The answers might lie in those explosive secrets he's been protecting, secrets that could change absolutely everything. What do you think? Is Diddy's downfall simply the consequence of his own actions? Or is there something more sinister at play? Could it be that the very same forces that once protected him are now orchestrating his destruction? Share your thoughts and theories below. Let's uncover the truth together. Until next time, stay curious and keep questioning everything around you. Goodbye for now. The world of power and fame is never what it seems, is it? And Diddy's story might just be the proof we've all been waiting for.